This is a free podcast from the BBC. For more information, you can go to our website, bbc.co.uk/Radio 2.
What? Who is this tall lump of lard?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kenny Everett Show.
Wake up to Wogan!
That's better.
Ugh, just let me give him a splot with my Thron Ray.
No, Ken,
What?
Ken.
What?
It's the red button. The red button.
They're all red.
Will you never learn?
I want my money.
At last, after months of in-house scrutiny, Nick says over untruths, quizzes, and pet names. Well, I missed a lot of that cat stuff. I still can't believe it. Anyway, I'm glad to see that the BBC has finally concluded its investigations by naming you as the ultimate con of the last 40 years. Icon. There is a difference. Not much. The nation thanks you for proffering yourself as the sacrificial lamb on this occasion. Well, somebody has got to fall on their sword on the BBC, in the BBC. For goodness sake. Am I to come back to another orgy of self-flagellation? The Radio 2 icon of the last 40 years. Look, I'm sorry to keep mentioning it, but all the mail appears to be about it, and I'm enormously flattered and surprised. Amazed would be another word for it. Another disgraceful episode of media vote rigging. When all his listeners thought that he'd been on holiday, he's been nobbling the great British public into voting for him. Yes. When all fruit fails, there's money. Will I ever be able to believe anything again? Liz Ashton, isn't that exactly the way I feel myself? I hear you've become the iconic man. What? No, not again. Let's not mention this again. Oh, all right then. Norman ancestry. Does this mean you'll be wearing orange shell suits like Lee Majors? And why not? Which part of you is iconic? Your hip replacements, your false teeth, your hearing aid? Look, I don't have to sit here. I'm privately wealthy. I don't have to sit here and listen to this. Sir Terry is a wonderful chap. The accolades go on and on. I understand he's from Ireland. He must be a leprosy icon. Look, Bob, a job. That'll never work. Paul Atkinson of he's the controller's assistant. At last, some reaction from above. Dear Mr. Wogan, Dame Leslie is pleased at your new, if possibly unwarranted, status. However, she does have some reservations about the edict issued. Well, I just issued an edict. What icons do? Hence, any person entering or leaving a room where you're present will bow or curtsy as appropriate. A director will be available at all times to scatter rose petals in your path and spray incense of your chosen odour, usually bacon. A full Irish will be available on demand at any time between 7 and 9:30. To be served by a scantily clad traffic presenter. You will no longer demean yourself by actually operating equipment. These functions now to be carried out entirely by a Mr. Boyd. Oh, I don't think so. It's apparent that a Mr. Boyd has got the elbow. It's Mr. Hughes now. Yes, 2 Phils we have. 2 Phils don't make a right. Ms. Douglas is only prepared to consider the last of these demands, since there's a chance that there'll be less cock-ups than usual, thus showing some sort of improvement to this mishmash that you dare call a show. Kindly reconsider your position and be grateful that Dame Leslie was not eligible to be in the mix for Ultimate Icon, as obviously you would have stood no chance whatsoever against the great woman herself. Remember who signed your contracts. Contracts? Well, once again, my memos haven't paid off. And thank you again. Look at this. As we know, there is the Tog Celebrity Calendar for Children in Need, which is on sale, and I hope you're going to rush out and buy one. But there's loads of them on the market, and for some reason, people feel they should send me them. Look, here's one. 2008, If Pigs Could Fry. Look at that. Water Skiing Westies, the All Action 2008 calendar. And there's my personal favourite, More Tea Vicar. Pin-up priests playing around. Welcome back. While you've been away, Nigella has been causing a stir. I'm not a bit surprised. Sure, that woman was born to stir. Here's a few of her quotes. While sticking a knife up a lemon, I like a good impaling. In creating a creamy dessert, she suggested 2 plump mounds. And for that perfect steak, Nigella liked a desperate Dan portion. She's doing this deliberately. Hi there.
Hi there, how y'all doing?
I'm okay. I'm missing you already.
Woo!
So, how was Johnny?
Well, Johnny
Yes.
was Johnny, but
Yes.
the difficulty I'm having at the moment is the aura that's emanating from you.
No, all icons have this semicircular thing over their head.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what it means is this is a sanctified person. Do not touch.
We got that word right.
Do not kiss the hem of his robe.
Okay.
Okay?
gonna be
How do you
difficult.
think the robe suits me?
It's lovely, but it's going to be a long morning. I can see that.
A traffic reporter called Lynn was just so incredibly thin. The results were quite comic when she sipped gin and tonic. She slipped through the straw and fell in. Now look, that's, there's no need for that.
I don't drink gin.
Don't you?
No.
Of course,
That'll
they
be
used to,
why.
in Ireland in my day, people used to say, oh, of course, gin's a very depressing drink.
Why?
I've just come back from Ireland,
Yes.
where they greet you with, how are you doing? How's you going?
Well, what is the standard response to that?
A wink.
All right.
A roguish wink. Die laughing is right.
Oh, yeah, die.
Hey, die. Hey, Lynn Carriott, a wonderful week we had in our romantic little haven in the Black Mountains. I thought it was very sporting of the Wogans to move over into the caravan the next field for the second week, so we could get on with creosoting the outside of our little shack.
Well, you've got to keep stuff up to master.
I did think, though, it was a bit unfair of them the way they kept their maid, Miss Godfrey, wasn't it, in a tent in the garden. The poor girl looked frozen. At least she was until two passing Polish plumbers asked her the way to Abergavenny.
Poor boys, poor lads.
In return, they offered to fix a wick in the little Primus stove, and nobody's seen hiding a hair of them since. Not so much as a blow lamp or a strip of solder. You got to laugh. See, there's somebody in Wales laughing.
Yeah, we are. Lovely.
Her lips, says Lynn, will never touch gin, for she uses a funnel to pour the stuff in.
I'm no fool.
And like a true slob, she loves to lob tincture of grape straight down her gob. In a spirit of fun, she says just the one, but her throat doesn't close till the barrel's done. For Splot heritage ordains, she takes enormous pains, so not a drop of brains ever reaches the drains. A fantastic crookie.
I know, but so true. That's the scary thing.
Desperately,
Well, how does he
desperately
know?
True. And of course, as your correspondence about gin being a depressing drink.
I never said
It's a
that.
very depressing drink.
Oh.
Oh, don't be talking. I can vouch for that. For didn't me old granny down in County Down drink gallons of the juniper juice? She drank very quickly because she didn't like the taste.
Oh, excellent woman.
Togmeister, ignore all the insults. Just remember, great blokes from little icons grow. Wilf Fielding of Stretford in Manchester, you should be ashamed of yourself. And not so fast, eh? Fidelma says, a steward's inquiry has revealed evidence of block voting. What? In the iconic vote, you say? It seems your many admirers in Denmark, Finland, the former rump of Norway, and sundry former Soviet republics have combined to vote you an icon. Is it hot in the studio today, says Lollipop? Only I noticed on the webcam you're exposing your manly hair chat. There's no sign of it. No, is there?
Well, you can't be it,
It's hot in the
From
sense of
here.
hot diggity dangs, but not otherwise.
You guys are wearing pink again. The pair of you. What is it with you two?
We're not afraid.
I know.
We're in touch with our...
We're not
we
afraid.
are.
There are no phobics here.
Oh,
Don't look at me.
I only noticed exposing your manly hair chest as you're sitting without a tie and the first couple of buttons of your shirt undone. This must be a very old webcam picture you're looking at.
He's our page 7 fella.
Now, I don't wish to pour cold water, says Barry Bucknell. It's a very laudable initiative.
Yes, very Bucknell.
I once bought a flat pack house. When I assembled it, there was a pile of leftover bricks and a bidet that didn't seem to have anywhere to go. I mean, it seems like a splendid idea, but for people who can't afford new housing, and most people can.
No,
but
not anymore.
A flat pack house. Now, I know in Sweden, if you order a ready-made house, they'll come, the old prefab notion, and they'll put it on the ground, and it's perfect, and because that's what they do very
They're
well.
Swedish, yeah.
Yeah, they do that very well. That's where IKEA started anyway, wasn't it? But, yeah, but that's what they do, and they do it very well. But men do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to flat pack it yourself.
However, this is a long-term entertainment agenda here, I think, because if you want to start up a real family row, assemble a flat-pack wardrobe, bank holiday weekend, that's fine. Nobody will speak to anybody for months. Try out a house. I mean, you've got years of work there.
That's true, that's a good point.
Great.
I like
Keep
it.
you going for ages. Keep people off the street.
I don't know why you haven't done better in the BBC. Reverend Michael Bentley says, with all this talk about flat-cap homes, everyone knows that dear Detective Sherlock Holmes wore a deer... Oh, for heaven's sake. Look at you. Why are you wearing an anorak this morning?
This is not an anorak. This is now padding, just in case you throw something at me again.
It's a puffer jacket.
Freezing to death, yeah. No one's got a hockey mask for me to wear anymore.
Yeah, but
Right in the eye. I'm going to have a black eye tonight.
Yes.
I have to call the nurse.
Give you a dangerous look. On Monday, you asked the Numpty comedy team of Bowles and No.
I don't think we're as good as numpties.
Hang on, have you heard some of the comedy teams on radio?
Okay, fair enough.
Whether they suffer from jealousy due to your recent recognition, I dare say they don't suffer from jealousy. They enjoy every minute of it. Yankee Doodle, I think there may be something in what you say.
Not every day somebody close to you is voted a relic. Icon.
Get it right. You know what he's like.
Is that really Charles Dance reading the news?
Oh, yes.
Oh, you did hear that? Oh, yes.
He was in White Mischief.
Was he? Oh, so he was. I saw you in that.
He was good in that.
I saw you in that. Put that woman down, I shouted. I wonder what's become of him. Fallen on hard times since his initial success. Matt Monroe did the same thing in reverse. Started as a bus conductor and found fame.
Get that bus out. Go on.
Get that bus out. Tell me this and tell me no more. Where's the bus going now?
The bus is sitting quietly in its shed this weekend, and then it's got very busy times coming up. It's got a number of important engagements around London.
He doesn't give much away,
He doesn't, does he?
He's like most bus drivers.
Where's this bus go? I don't know, mate.
And listen, finally, on this particular segment of the show, his lady...
This is a show?
Well, I'm allowed to have my delusions.
Okay.
Show and tell.
Taffman of Abergele.
Yeah.
His Lady Bowles, any relation to the Bowles Sand and Gravel family and the dry dock owners. Your family owned a dry dock?
Oh, we had several ships as well, and all concrete out the wazoo. I tell you, can I do you a deal on some concrete? Because I can probably get you a good deal.
Are you a woman of private means? What are you doing in here?
Only do it for the...
You're trying to sell an Irishman a driveway.
No, why am I doing it?
You're doing it for the glory. That's what you're doing it for.
No, I'm trying to sell an Irishman a driveway. Do you think I've got any chance?
Not a hope.
The last Irish fellas that sold me a driveway, it crumbled in a week.
And they'd gone.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Strange that.
You're listening to the Wake Up to Wogan podcast from BBC Radio 2.
And now, Wilf, says Shuggy, not Shuggy McPhee. Oi, Wilf, now that you're officially an icon, does it mean that Barrowlands has to double-click you to get you to start working? Double-kick me. I'm attending a conference in Limerick in a certain hotel. Imagine my surprise. Look at this. They've named a room after me. Smallest room in the hotel. No, that's true. I'm very honoured. And surely the outcome of the weekend vote. What for? Finest person of his type in the last 300 years. The outcome of the weekend vote was a foregone conclusion, and yet another disgraceful case of the BBC fixing the results. I don't know. This is a sore point with us lads at the moment. They couldn't give it to Princess Diana because they couldn't find a representative to talk to Michael Aspel on Sunday. Well, would you blame them? And they couldn't give it to the Beatles, because that would be unfair, because they're not all here to receive it. And they couldn't give it to Nelson Mandela, as with the current financial situation within the BBC, it would have cost too much for the phone call to South Africa. Whereas yourself, already on the BBC staff, you wouldn't need any recompense. A foregone conclusion, if ever I saw one. Tired teacher, there's only one flaw in your argument there. I'm not on the BBC staff. They wouldn't have me. Huh? It's come to my attention, says Alligator, and this is perhaps the most heartening news of the morning because there's not an awful lot to cheer about. It came to my attention recently during the 2012 Olympics. Beach volleyball, ladies, will be held on Horse Guards Parade. Most popular sport in the entire Olympics. I've got one! Wilting Baz, the great Wilting Baz, who incidentally can be reached at P.O. Box 3286, Calne, Wiltshire SN119ED, if you fancy. £7.50, including post and packaging, for Mad and Wilting. Volume 2, great verse from himself and other great Tog poet tasters. And it's all on behalf of children in need, so if you'd like to help, he's the man. And he's helping here again, because I've got one, he says. The Pudsey Pack. In fact, they've sent me 2, full of ideas for children in need, and you can get hold of one too, with posters and stickers and things to do. Make sure you don't leave it too late. Just dial 020-857-677-88. I've just watched Tracy de Jong Eglin in Veenendaal in Holland, and your man's daughter, you know. I'm just watching Ready, Steady, Cook. Let's face it, there are no other cookery programs on the television just now. How true that is. Do you remember when we used to say, I could really do without this old interior decor stuff? And we got far too much of that. Those were the good days. Jan Leeming was a guest on Ready, Steady, Cook. Her chef, James Tanner, made her some battered fish. And when it came to tasting, she said, was it all right if she didn't eat the batter, because she didn't eat protein and carbohydrate at the same time? James Tanner's face was a picture. He looked like the fish wasn't the only thing he wanted to batter. Why did they let these people on if they're not going to eat the food? I don't know. Look, I did a talk show for about 300 years, and I used to say that nearly every day. Why do they let these people on if they're not going to talk? I'm a little puzzled how the term icon came to be applied to you. Isn't that something to do with computers? As someone who's yet to master the intricacies of the zip fastener, it hardly seems appropriate to describe you. Mind you, there are religious icons, usually Russian. As far as I can tell, these are wooden and garishly painted. Ah, I see. Sammy detached. You'd think you're funny? Ah, the joy of hearing Raymond Blanc say, fuddy-duddy. I'm sorry I missed that. Fuddy-duddy. Mais alors, les contestants? Last week, this is le restaurant. Encore les problèmes. We had a confused contestant who didn't know the difference between a cow and a bull. She was hoping to get cream from the local bull. And this week, several contestants were confused with the meaning of delighting their customers as they took to singing to them. Oh, God. Don't you remember those Italian restaurants? They used to be around in the 70s and 80s where you'd be trying to eat your dinner and they'd start bursting into uncontrollable Neapolitan love songs. And you think, give me a break here. And tansy white bits that... I noticed there's a new experimental program being tried out next Sunday called Points of View. Yeah. No, we never do that at peak viewing times because it's only 15 minutes long anyway. So if you have an opinion, you better get it in quick. I wonder if it's starring anyone famous. I know that Michael Parkinson and Moira Stewart are looking for new jobs. Perhaps it might be Norman Wisdom. Oh. Mr. Grimsday! So now it seems it's come to pass that Terry is an icon. Would he lie face down for me? I need him to park my bike on. Well done. Look at the power of the Togs. Do us all a favour. Stand for PM. Jilly. I don't think it's beyond me. A big welcome back, but many congratulations. Well, for goodness sake, you know better than congratulate me. Pat Wilkinson, otherwise known as Briny Points. Briny Points. Ed McLeod forced me to crack open champagne on Sunday on account of you being voted Radio 2's most idle from the last 40 years. Now they find you out, won't they curb your holidays? Mother Superior of the Sisters of Perpetual PMT. 40 years of Radio 2 on the 30th of September. Some of us are far too young ever to remember, while many, many others, just like yourself, old friend, have been there from the beginning. And you've been there to the end. That's really nice. Really nice. As I said, the icon, of course, is a very, very ancient and occasionally revered representation of somebody holy. I'd just like to thank you all very much. The only thing that worries me is, where are you going to hang me? And it's Radio 2. But then, it always was and always will be. I've just returned from my local newsagents, where, having purchased my copy of the Daily Splot, I overheard one teenage schoolboy say to his mate, "How'd you get on in English yesterday?" To which his friend replied, "I done great." Fantastic. Who said Shakespeare was dead? And following your elevation to iconic status as the nation's most highly respected and much-loved treasure, I can read a lot of emails like this, you know. With racing snake-like figure and many a well-earned holiday under your belt, I like this guy, Neil's on Wheels. I was mulling over my own choice of career way back in the 60s. I, too, harboured dreams of disc jockeying. However, I recall being subjected to powerful persuasion by our local school's career advisor to stick to respectable occupations such as banking or insurance, because being a DJ would bring me only loathing, disrespect, financial insecurity, and no chance of being able to afford to retire. 40 years on, I'm generally loathed, my pension contributions have evaporated, the final reminders are blocking the doorway, and I'm struggling to recall in which decade I could last afford a holiday. I can't help thinking somehow I may have made the wrong choice. Well, that's positively the last time I listened to advice from know-it-all, slap-deserving careers advisors. Do you think, says Neil, it's worth sending another tape of myself to Radio Luxembourg 40 years on, just in case they lost the last one? Thank you for all your letters, your emails, your faxes, all the abuse. God, I love it. Becky, I've been a fan for many years. Admittedly, in my formative years, it was by default. I was forced to listen to you by my mother, and in recent years I've now inflicted you on my own children. And that's the secret of Radio 2's success. We've been inflicted on the lost generations of children. They don't want to listen, but they feel it's a kind of a discipline for their children. You listen and like it.
Wake up to Wogan!
This was a podcast from BBC Radio 2. Don't forget you can also download free podcasts for Steve Wright, Russell Brand and Chris Evans. Get more information now at bbc.co.uk/radio2.